Good morning, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Okay, today I want to talk to the silver wolves about, well, improvement. As we get older, we get problems. We know that, and I've stated several times what my problems are, and I'm sure most of you have them as well. There's arthritis. You know, the joints just don't want to work some morning. There's other things, eyesight, hearing, mobility, and other health concerns, such as us being diabetic or having heart conditions. Now, in my case, my biggies, and I'm just trying to share this so you know where I'm coming from, okay? Working hard, really hard most of my life, and doing a lot of hard work I shouldn't have had to do as a child, trying to make life work for the family. Worn out joints, everything's worn out, and so I've got arthritis on almost every joint, and so that on certain mornings really hurts, and of course you get flare-ups where they swell and you just can't seem to do a whole lot. On top of that, I've had 5 heart attacks, 3 major, 2 minor, and the last time they did open heart and it completely did all the bypasses and stuff like that. That was in 2014, so about 10 years ago. So I have that and, you know, heart problems because of that. So you have to be on heart medication, etc. Then there's the fact that I drowned when I was a teenager, and this left lung has had pneumonia so many times, it's so scarred up, and thanks to COVID, I've got other, as the doctor said, significant respiratory issues from that. So as you can see, I'm pretty much wore out, okay? So what do I do to cope and still get out there? Well, the first step is to recognize what are your limitations. Some things you can make improvement on. Some things we just got to learn to live with and work our way around them somehow. Because my mindset is always what works. I'm not going to throw the whole car away because it's got a flat tire or it's got a bad radiator. If everything else works, I will fix the part and keep going, right? I've never been one, I like old vehicles. I buy one once and I run that sucker till the wheels fall off. I'm not one of them that has to trade every 2 years. Well, that mindset I apply to health as well. So whenever I had the heart issue, I recognized I'd have to work to come back up, to get better, to make improvement. See? And the body never loses the ability to make improvement. On up into our 90s, we can still build muscle, we can still improve. We just have to find a way to do it. Now sometimes, and the most common way, guys, is baby steps. And so our mobility makes a big difference. We're wanting to get back outside. We're wanting to get back out in the outdoors. But we may have not led a life for the last 25 years or whatever, raising a family, working a job, having a career, or etc., where we were physically that active. Maybe you did stuff in an office or something like that, and you just haven't had the physical build-up to it. And so you need to improve that somewhat. Well, the first step is to realize what are your weaknesses, what is your strength, and let's see what we can do there. For example, with my heart issue and my lung issues that kind of run together, the doctor does not want me out in extreme heat or extreme cold because it puts too much strain on the heart and everything. So that whenever it's 100 degrees out here and high humidity and I'm not doing anything but trying to just sit there, the heart's having to pump too hard to try to circulate and cool the body. It's kind of like cranking up a car, not putting it in gear, but sitting there and just racing the motor, and that's bad. On the other side of that, extreme cold. Me trying to lay there and you know, being extreme cold, the heart's having to pump real hard to try to keep the heat circulation going, and you're in extreme cold temperatures. So I have to try to limit or find a way to work with extreme heat and extreme cold. See, in between I'm good, but on those ends, being short of breath, well, that caused the lungs. So I don't just start and take off. So I physically got good strength, but if I start going full speed like I did when I was 25, just from a dead stop, go, I'm gonna run out of steam about 20 minutes. I'll be going, because I can't get enough air. I have to start and build up speed slower. Now if I do that, going slow and just make a little bit of improvement as I go, get a little faster, and give my body a chance to get the circulation going, get the lungs pumping, get it. It's kind of like, don't throw it in gear and stomp it, just start slow on a car. If I'll do that, I can come up to speed, and I can do just about anything I could do when I was in my 30s for a couple of hours. As long as I use my head, keep an eye on my pulse, etc., I can stay focused. Now, your issues, whatever they be, if you've got heart and you've got lung problems, same thing with me. You have to take it slow and build up. Give the body time to get in gear. So, what do I recommend to start with? Well, mobility and flexibility, two things. If you have not done a great deal of outdoor stuff, or you haven't been in that kind of physical job or whatever, we need to get you back flexible as much as possible. So I recommend you look up, and on YouTube there's all kinds of things like that, but look up chair yoga or senior yoga, okay? And it's just a lot of flexing is what it is. This is important because we're not 20 anymore. Our bodies are kind of stiff, and so we kind of break them in. So stretching, you remember that when you're working a job and they always said stretch before you start your shift, and we all went, yeah, right. It does matter, especially when we're going to be hiking or toting weight or etc. So the first thing we need to do is start stretching. Pull. If you can do like that and it's tight, it'll kind of, ow, that little hurts, good. It means it's tight. Pull and just hold it a minute. Go to the other one. Pull, hold it a minute. Hold that arm up at that angle. Is your arm sitting there twitching? Good. That means we found something we need to work on. And sit there and stretch and twist and everything and get yourself limbered up. Why chair yoga? Because when we're sitting down and out, is likely to fall down. We don't have the balance we did. Again, we can recondition the body, but we need to limber up to it, okay? Now, with my heart, I want to recognize that. With my lungs, I want to recognize that. And what can I do to make it happen? Make myself be able to get out there without worrying about this? Well, starting slow. I'm not in a foot race with anybody, right? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get me a walking stick, and I'm going to start walking around the block, or go to a big shopping mall, or if you're in a city, go to a mall, or go to a big place like a Walmart or something. Walk around inside the building. You know, start doing laps inside the building. You got air conditioning. Go ahead and start. You know, say, okay, today I'm going to do 5 laps in Walmart, or I'm going to do 10 laps, or whatever, and build up. If you're in a place where you can get out in your neighborhood and walk around, do that. I'm going to do 1 lap around the block. Now I'm going to do 2. Now I'm going to do 3. When I get doing 5 or 6, and that ain't a big deal, now we start adding a little bit. Take your haversack, put it on, walk. What did it teach you? Well, it taught me that the strap's digging into me. Do I need a bigger strap, a wider strap? I need to take something like a dish towel and put up there and pat it, keep from digging in. Does it ride better on this neck or this side of the neck? See? It can be a working thing. You can learn as you're doing it. Okay, I have now got to where I'm carrying my haversack and all my kit in there, and I'm okay and I'm doing the thing. Start with your rucksack. Don't put a lot of weight in it. Start with it and just put, I don't know, a water bottle or something to start with, and slowly increase until you get your full rucksack. What are you going camping with? I should be able to make 5 laps around the block without on my back, without it killing me, right? Even though I'm going to be doing basic, just kind of car camping, I need to build my body up. Now, I've had this hot summer. The summer is now, we're just out of summer into September. Shh, don't jinx it. And it's kind of cooled off down here at the south a little bit. Yes, there's going to be some hot days, but this morning it was 68 degrees. Hallelujah. And I was able to get out and go walk a little bit and exercise a little bit without risk of overheating or etc. So when it's good conditions, you do it. When the conditions are against you and everything else, have the wisdom to say, okay, this ain't going to work today. I'll do something else. I'll practice something else. See, a good friend of mine that I worked with who was in his 70s, whenever I was in my 40s, and me and him were doing stuff, and he had come out of a corporate world and wanted to get back to his love of the woods that he had had. And so we practiced, and on those days when it was just simply too hot, you know, forget it about it. We were not going out there, it's just too hot. We'd get out on his back deck with knives and we'd practice doing tri-sticks. We'd carve dingle sticks, we'd make figure 4 traps, we'd whatever, we'd practice some skills. We'd get out on his back deck and on his barbecue grill we'd try cooking lunch in a bush pot and stuff like that. We'd try recipes, make coffee, whatever. There's something you can do. It ain't got to be all of it, but you practice those skills at home. Practice the cooking, practice the knife work, practice the knot work and tying knots and stuff like that. Practice that at home. So when you do come out here to the woods, you're already prepared. See, the physical part of it, like we've been talking about, getting myself conditioned to go. You know, start with just walking. Get a good stick for balance, because you may not have balance that well. Living in a city, you're walking on relatively flat ground, flat floors, flat sidewalks, etc. When you get out here in the woods, the ground is not flat, and those muscles that have been holding you straight up are not used to holding you at angles, and it feels like, God, man, what's the problem? Why are my legs hurting me? Because you're walking on angles, and your feet and your body's having to hold against those angles of the uneven ground, and it's a lot more tiring. I used to, at the end of my job a couple of years ago, I was standing on my feet 8 hours a night, probably doing 10 miles a day inside that store, running around, because I was constantly in motion. I rarely stood still. And so when I would come out to the outdoors, and man, my legs would just kill me. And it was because of that, because I'm not walking on flat, smooth surface now, am I? Now I'm walking on stuff that's like this. And so the different muscle groups that had not been holding me up now have to. So I got to condition them and strengthen them. Usually that first day was rough on a hike. But by the second day I was kind of breaking in. By the third day I was good to go. You know, the beauty of it is the body has the ability to learn and to improve within reason. I'm never going to get that heart function back that I lost. I'm never going to get back the lung function that I lost. The creaking, popping joints, it's going to be just part of it. And so I have to work and adapt. State the problem. Find a way to adapt around it. Don't give up. Find a way to do it. Is it going to be difficult? Sometimes it is maddening so. where I want to go, and I plan to go do this, and I've got friends coming, and we're going to go do this, and I get a arthritis flare up where I walk like Frankenstein because everything is just screaming. I can't kneel down. I can't hardly do any kind of bending or twisting or whatever. The shoulder is just like someone stabbing you with an ice pick. You know, trying to reach out like that is just about impossible. You know, when those flare-ups happen, you just gotta take the round and take a down day. Focus on something that does work. When I hurt real bad and I can't get up, I dig out the books. I get in a comfortable chair, I get nice and situated, and I start reading about something I want to improve, like plant identification or journals where somebody went out and did stuff. Keep the mind active if the body's offline. See what I'm saying? You can improve. I have faith in you. You can do this. You just gotta admit, okay, here's the problem, and work to solve that problem. Mitigate that problem. Go around it. So, for me, I'm walking. Now, as you can see, after the summer, I gained a few pounds. Well, yeah, I can't get out, you know, because of the heat. Well, now the heat's giving me a bigger window in the morning than it was. A lot of the videos that you've seen of me in the last month or so, 2 months, I'm coming out at like 6 or 7 in the morning and we're just dripping sweat by 7:30 because of the heat and humidity and everything. Well, that puts a strain on the old ticker a little bit. So now it was a cool morning. It's not as big a strain on me. I'm not sweating standing here right now. And so I'm able to get out and walk. So I went and walked around the block 3 times this morning before I ever came out to do this video. Now I'm going to see if I can lose this extra 5 pounds I picked up over the summer and kind of get back in. So I will be walking tomorrow carrying my haversack. And after I do that for a week, that'll come the rucksack. And hopefully by the 1st of October, I'll be carrying 25, 30 pounds in that rucksack. And I'll be doing my 3 laps, which is, I live in a kind of an outer community. So my block is not a normal city block size. It's a good deal larger. So it's 3/4 of a mile around. I think it's a little over 3/4 of a mile around. And so 3 laps is right at 2 miles, 2.5 miles, something like that. And it's enough to get your wind going good, and that's what I want. I want to work on, you know, keeping me in trim, keeping my breathing good, and that is by exercise. Your lungs fill up if you don't do something with them. So before I start, I do a little stretching. You know, limber up a little bit. Do a little bit of knee bend. Sit there in that chair and bend that knee up to your chest. You know. Sit there and do this. Pull that sucker up as hard as you can pull it. Do the other one. Pull that sucker up as hard as you can do it. Twist them ankles a little bit. Do what you got to do. Hold on to the chair and do a little bit of squats to build up the back and the legs a little bit. Warm me up. Breathe. Okay, I'm getting going again. You know, and I start making sure my breath is good. When you first start, the body's kind of like, what are you doing? And then it kind of will get used to it. I'm about to start my walk. I'm putting my haversack on. I start those deep breaths. Hold it for this second. I'm doing that. I'm expanding my lungs. The good stuff, get the good areas open to hold air, because I'm about to be walking and I'm going to need air. And I start off at a leisurely pace, just walking. No kind of speed, no kind of nothing. When I make my first lap, when I cross the line on the first full lap, I'll speed it up a little. And when I circle back around and I'm on my 3rd lap, it's as hard as I can go. If this is feeling good, heart's doing good, it's not doing anything squirrely, I'm in. Now I'm kind of at speed, and I bear down and I try to see my time, beat my time going all the way around. Then when I get done, I don't just come to a dead stop. I cross that line, I break down the speed and I drop back down to about half speed, and I'm just walking along nice and slow, breathing. And that last lap, I make a 4th lap. I'm not really pressing anything. I will go, I'll stop and stand there a minute and breathe. I'm letting everything come back down, see, and then I come back in. That's my little exercise program to try to get back in and get back into it, because I got a lot of stuff going on this fall. So Blackie's got to be able to stand, carry a pack, be out there, talk a lot, be with people. So I've got to get my lungs, get my heart, get a little bit of weight off of me, and get back going. But you can do it. You can do this. Improve it as best as it can get. And recognize you're not 20 anymore. You know, oh, I was 20, I could run such and such. I was carrying 80-pound packs in my 20s. You know, and that's one of the reasons I got arthritis now too, is everything's wore out. And so you just have to focus on it. Limbering up, big deal now that we're older. We got to flex, twist, whatever. Look at that chair, C-H-I-R, sitting in a chair yoga, because we ain't got the balance. The more you walk, the more you carry, the more you do, the more limber you become, the greater you'll improve. See? So you can do it. I remember when I was going to college, the college has a big indoor heated swimming pool. And I want to say that the gentleman's name was Mr. Towers. And he shuffled like a penguin. You'd see him coming. It took him forever, bless his heart. He was in the early 90s, I think 92. But literally, he walked like this. That's how he walked. I bet his feet didn't move that far. It didn't move that far. Every step. But he would go get in the pool. He'd get in the lift and he'd put him in the pool. He became a dolphin as soon as he got in that water. I mean, this guy did 25 laps, and this is a big major swimming pool indoors. I don't know if it's truly Olympic, but you get the idea. It's a competition-sized college swimming pool. And he would do 25, 30 laps at speed. And then he'd get out of the water and he'd shuffle again. He didn't have the balance problems, so he couldn't take a full step. He might tip over. But once he was in the water, he didn't have to worry about falling down. And that's how he kept his mobility, was he went swimming. And even though the shuffling was, bless his heart, I mean, he did the best. He'd laugh about it too. So here come the penguin. Look out, high speed, low drag, you know. He had a good sense of humor about it. But I got in the pool a few times, was trying swimming, and I couldn't. Here I was, a quarter of his age, and I couldn't keep up with him. Me swimming as hard as I could. I might stay with him for a half lap, and after that I just couldn't do it, and he would just pull away from you. You know, he had found his way of staying in shape, of staying in the game. And if you look around, I bet you'll find a way too. Hope you've enjoyed this, guys. Again, we're doing the Silver Wolves classes that's going to be coming up in Ohio. And if you'll go to Waypoint Survival, you can sign up for the classes. We're going to be talking about first aid, navigation. We're going to be talking about everything focusing with us out in the woods. We've got a lot of good classes lined up, and I hope to see you there. Till next time, guys, I'm Blackie, wishing you safe journeys. Have a great day, guys.